Good evening, everyone. I am Elizabeth Crowther. I'm going to be talking with you guys tonight about why you should not text and drive. The purpose of this speech is to persuade you guys. First, we will discuss the dangers that texting and driving have and why it should not be done. Next, we will discuss the consequences that come along with texting and driving. And lastly, we will discuss the statistics of texting and driving and the distractions it can have. Much of my information I'm going to share with you today came from multiple different web pages such as dmv.org, consequences.com, and a few different articles I researched as well. I also talked with two DMVs, one in Leesville, Louisiana, and another one in Tampa, Florida. First, I'm going to discuss the dangers of texting and driving. We all know driving is a privilege because there's a lot of responsibilities and risks that come along with driving. That's why you need to be a certain age to drive and have to pass multiple tests as well. When you text and drive, you're not just putting yourself at risk, but you're putting everyone else on the road at risk as well. Texting and driving is just as bad as drinking and driving. You can always have the same outcome if someone gets hurt. Everyone on the road is always at danger because no matter what, not everyone is going to follow the law. My mom always told me that she was not worried about my driving. It was everyone else's driving that she was worried about. And that makes sense because you could be affected one day by somebody else's driving. You should not text and drive because why would you want to risk your life over somebody else's? Drivers need to keep their attention on the road and not their phone. We need to try and save lives. Next, we will discuss some consequences that texting and driving have. Many of you text and drive. I know I've done it before, but I'm trying to stop. I know in most states, texting and driving is against the law, and you can receive tickets, and it will put points on your license. And if you get a certain number of points on your license, you can lose your driving privileges. Another consequence could be jail time if you end up severely hurting someone or even killing them. And I'm pretty sure nobody wants to go to jail because you will be charged with vehicular manslaughter. If you end up seriously hurting someone or even causing death to them, you could live with a bunch of guilt. The guilt of knowing that it could have been prevented, the guilt of knowing that someone you just lost a loved one or a friend, and it's because you wanted to send a last text or read what your buddy was sending you. Nobody should have to go through that. You're going to have to be the one to face the family of the life that you took and know that they lost a loved one because you want to be selfish and text and drive. Lastly, we are going to discuss some statistics of texting and driving and the distractions it can have. Did you know that you are 23 times more likely to have a car crash if you text and drive? Also, texting and driving is the number one distraction for people. Statistics say that 1.6 million car crashes each year are caused by the use of cell phones, and it takes over 6,000 lives every year. While driving, you are 6 times more likely to crash while texting than you are drinking and driving. The University of Utah did a study, and it says the reaction time of a teenage driver using the cell phone is the same as a 70-year-old driver not using a cell phone. So that says a lot right there. Texting and driving affects your visual, cognitive, and manual thinking because visual, you are taking your eyes off the road. Cognitive, you're not paying attention to your surroundings and the safety of your driving and others. And lastly, manual thinking is you're taking your hands off the steering wheel so you can send your last-minute text. Did you know that if you're traveling 55 miles an hour in 5 seconds and you're not paying attention, you've passed the length of a football field? So, first we discuss the dangers of texting and driving and why it should not be done. Then we discuss the consequences that come along with texting and driving. And lastly, we discuss the statistics of texting and driving and the distractions it can have. After everything I discussed, I hope that next time you get behind the wheel and you decide to text and drive, you'll think about it because you don't want to be the one to lose a life or to lose lose a loved one. Thank you guys.